I grew up selling door-to-door soap, right? And when you do that at a very early age, you realize one thing very fast, that people don't buy from people who talk at them. People buy from people who understand them. And here's what's fascinating. At every level of my life, from that door-to-door selling to today when I speak to the world leaders, the family offices, the billionaires, the astronauts, the athletes, they all have this one thing in common. They don't need someone around them who they're starving to talk at them. They really need someone who understands them. And that's the key insight, where everybody was trying to broadcast and build their audience. I was just trying to understand audience. And because I was understanding them on a regular, consistent basis, I think I just built and happened to end up building an audience.
Did you have a light bulb go off in the beginning when you were trying to understand your audiences? What was the first thing where you thought, wow, I was completely out of touch. I didn't realize that was what was on people's minds?
Here's how I approach content, that to understand what's going on in people's mind. And I think here's an insight that everybody can follow in their worlds as well. We all say that we are living in an attention economy. I think that's wrong. That era is gone completely. We live in trust economy. And trust gets built when you listen longer, not when you shout out louder. So here's what you have to do. Every day you understand and listen, because you have to build connection. And there's no better way to build trust rather than building just listening mechanism in some way. So you read everything, you talk to people, you hear them talk about something, and the longer you listen, every time you're creating a small micro deposit of trust in their mind. The more you do it, the better your audience will get.
Is there a point, though, when vulnerability goes too far?
Yes. Here's a take, right? Everybody feels that you need to be vulnerable in order to lead the next generation, in order to lead your people. That's partially true, because I'll tell you there are two types of vulnerability, okay? One is the first type of vulnerability, which is emotional leakage, where you are going out, sharing all your emotions, and you're doing it. The more you do it, the more anxiety and uncertainty you create, because even you don't know what to say and what not to do, right? You're just dumping all your thoughts out. Your people don't want that. Your people want to see you as a strong leader who can lead them out of the way, not somebody who's crying in front of them in order to gain sympathy. So if you are actually in a space where you're emotionally leaking in front of your people, I would highly suggest that you do that in front of a therapist, not in front of your people. Right? So that's one. But here's a second way of vulnerability, which is structured honesty. Everybody who's following you is looking up to you, not to see you as someone who's emotionless and always be like, I'm powerful and come follow me. No. Structured honesty is, yes, I know what's going on. Yes, we are in a mess. Yes, this is the truth of our reality, but here's what we're going to do next. So you show the direction as well. You're not just trying and talking about your emotions. You're telling the world that this is the right way to do. I am with you in this. Even I don't know sometimes, I'm figuring out, but here are the next possible ways that we're all going to come out of this together. So if you're on the emotional leakage side, that vulnerability is something of a problem. I'll put it in a simple way. Every time you share your emotions, if that creates more uncertainty and anxiety, it's too much. Every time you share emotions, that creates more honesty, transparency, and shows people a way to get out of that chaos. I think that's the right kind of vulnerability that people should do.
Raj, final word. You talk to many leaders, you listen to the youth, and you're kind of a bridge between both of them. But what's one thing that you think that leaders in this room think they know about the next generation that they are actually completely wrong about?
Every time I speak to leaders in a room like this, I often hear from a lot of people. I can't say that this is true for everyone, but majority of people say this, that the younger generation, the next generation, Gen Z, they are lazy, they're distracted, and they're entitled. And I think that's completely wrong. We are not lazy, we are just allergic to meaningless work. We are not distracted, we are overly informed, so we want to be opinionated. And we are not entitled because, and here's something I want to say. We just don't want to work with leaders who don't give us equal authority. And the problem is kind of created by people who we look up to, like people like you. You know, every one of you, you've worked insanely hard to create such a good world for us and given us so many options that because we have so many options, we only want to choose to work with leaders who we feel comfortable and safe with, not with somebody who thinks that just because they've created the world, we need to follow them. So it's like, because you've created such an admired world, we only want to follow leaders who give us authority, who give us trust, and who actually understands what we bring on table at the same time. So that's something I believe most of the people get wrong about the younger generation.
Raj, Gashad, Miriam, as I mentioned, the one thing that Gallup has discovered that what people want to see in leaders is hope. And I think each of you in your own unique ways are delivering that for millions. So thank you for doing that for the world, and thank you for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.